India's population will soon surpass that of China's, and there will be more than 1.42 billion of us. With millions living without access to safe and healthy homes, slums are a common sight in all of our cities, and housing continues to be a growing challenge. While there have been efforts to address this by creating policies and setting goals to construct millions of homes, I believe the solution lies in a different approach. An approach that taps into the inherent resilience in marginalized communities and through a process that's based on their lived experiences. This is Parveen, an incredible community leader who was born and raised and gave birth to her two sons on a footpath in Mumbai. She now lives in housing provided by the city. Parveen and I have been working together for the last 7 years to transform her neighborhood. And during this time, I've heard Parveen and her friends recollect fondly about the good times they used to have while living on the footpath. Parveen taught me what resourcefulness looks like in the face of adversity. Despite the challenges of living on the footpath, her community was able to birth and sustain strong bonds and support networks. I vividly remember Parveen sharing with me how she used to create rosters with her neighbors to babysit her son, while she went to other slums in Mumbai to organize and support women's self-help groups. In a world that attaches great value to financial capacities, my experiences have allowed me to witness the utmost value of social capital, the one that Parveen was able to tap into. Let's pause for a moment and take a look at what Parveen's childhood home might have looked like. Although she tells me her home or hutment was actually between a railway track and a major arterial road. Is this what you visualize when you think of home? The word slum conjures up images of shanties, unplanned growth, and urban blight. And a quick search relays images that look like these. Invariably, aerial shots, whether these are the slums in Mumbai and Nairobi or the favelas in Brazil. So, when we hear about slum clearance, what we are imagining is a demolition of these structures. Understandably, they are unsafe. But imagine if these were the images that actually showed up for the same search. Images of community, social bonding, and people's lived experiences that we get to see here. So when we talk about slum clearance, what gets scooped up and discarded are not just the unsafe structures, but also the community's lived experiences that help shape these spaces and their individual and collective memories and histories. These families spend years eking out a living, trying to make home in a city that does not want them, with little to no resources. The quiet resolve and resilience that goes into building community along with others who are in similar dire circumstances, cannot be underestimated. Resilience, this word is everywhere. Whether we are in the profit or the non-profit sector, I'm sure we have used it in our work in some form or the other, like this. We are asked to build resilience as though it is something that can be simply manufactured. However, resilience, particularly social resilience, takes years to build and nurture. I am learning about this from the very best. Meet Dayaji. She recycles trash to make a living. The last time she and her community were displaced was about 45 years ago, when they were relocated in the middle of the night to make way for a stadium in her city, Ahmednagar. Dayaji shares stories with me about how she and the other displaced families had to make a home in what was a swamp. which included protecting their children from snake bites, and when they couldn't, rushing them to the hospital, wading through knee-deep water, the same water that they had to filter through their saris to drink. Today, Daya Aji's community, called Sanjay Nagar, located in the city Ahmednagar, is home to their fourth generation. This is the kind of resilience that cannot be just simply manufactured. It takes years of building and rebuilding through life and its many challenges. As I reflect on my experiences with the marginalized and its incredible people like Parveen and Daya Aji, I'm learning that behind the incredible individual resilience lies the collective strength of social bonds and support networks. So when we set out to transform a slum, what if we tap into the robust social capital and resilience in these marginalized communities and to use them so that they can reimagine their new homes and their new neighborhoods? 169 million people live without access to safe and adequate homes in urban India. Now, this roughly translates to 34 million families. Therefore, government policies and programs create plans to build 34 million houses. My goal, instead, is to set a new benchmark for housing for the marginalized and to build 135,000 communities over the next 2 decades. A benchmark that is rooted in holistic community building and co-creation, and the design and construction such that any of us could live in them. I have been working with Daya Ji and her community for the last 5 years. And I believe that we can achieve this through a very empathetic design process, the one that respects their lived experiences. In the process of sitting down with the community and working with them to help reimagine and rebuild their homes, we started out by asking a very simple question, but yet a powerful one. What do you want your homes to look like? Now, it took them years to make community and build their homes in a swamp. And naturally, they're very attached to the land. So much so that they wanted all the homes in the new redevelopment to be situated on the ground floor. This was simply not possible. We could not fit 298 homes as a ground storage structure on just 2 acres of land. So instead of just being the architects and telling them what to do or making the decision for them, we ran a very simple design exercise. We told them that if they succeed in situating all their homes on the ground floor as they were wishing, we would build it exactly like that. This group spent an entire afternoon trying to figure it out and arrived at the same conclusion. We play the role of facilitators, transferring creative and decision-making power over to the community so that they're able to make informed choices. Consensus building is hard, but very, very important to keep moving forward. This is one of my favorite moments. The families had to choose who their neighbors are going to be in the new redevelopment. And one of them, Rutik, became so familiar with the design through this ordeal that he was able to draw the layout of an entire building on a grubby carpet, and mind you, to scale. Democratizing and demystifying design is at the core of our process. So what does the design and planning for the new Sanjay Nagar look like? The homes are organized around 8 courtyards, which provide as spaces for celebration and gathering. With community participation, we were able to give these social spaces equal, if not more importance than the individual apartment units themselves. A year ago, we finished the first phase of this project. 33 families moved into this new building, and it has 20 unique apartment layouts based on their individual needs. They were thrilled to finally move into the homes that they had helped design and build with us. And what was really heartening to see is the light flooding in and the fresh air that they had in each of the apartment units. As we planned for phase 2 of this project, I was quite concerned about the open patch of land that was around this building, because we all know the endless stories of any empty space in this country being occupied by trash or storage. But I knew we had succeeded when Padmatai invited me into her home for a cup of chai. As we chatted, she went out to pick lemongrass from a garden that she had planted in the same space that I had considered to be that open patch of land that I was very concerned about. From 1,000 feet view, slums are a constant reminder and indicator of the failures of our society and its systems. And we're trying to find quick solutions to remove them from view. But look just a little bit closer, you will find resilient and vibrant communities. So when we set out to transform these spaces, are we creating systems and processes that actually respond to their lived experiences and respects the resiliency that's come out as a result? And before we go into these homes and trying to change and transform them, let's take a moment, a step back, and ask them, what do you imagine when you think of home? Thank you.